Good morning all. My name is C.H. Jayshree. I am working as Associate Professor in EEE Department. Now I am going to explain some small topic in total power system, that is load flow analysis. This is also called as power flow analysis. So load flow analysis or power flow analysis, total power system is not a single component. The power system is the combination of generation, transmission and distribution. So the load flow analysis main aim is to transmit the generated power from generating stations to end consumers, that is our. So the introduction of this load flow analysis is like that. Without load flow analysis, we can't design any power system and we can't extend the power system, or we can't increase the load at each buses. So the power system continuously monitored the voltages and voltage angles, active power, reactive power. These are the main components in the power system. So we continuously monitor these values, because if any unbalanced, nothing but any fault occurs in a power system, these four parameters are continuously varied. If we not balance those parameters, the generated power is not reached up to mark at the consumer levels. So that's why the load flow analysis is very important in the power system. By using this load flow analysis, we can calculate the bus voltages, bus angles, active power and reactive power of a power network. Also calculate the system losses at any bus. Bus means it is the interconnection of different components in the power network. The main components in the power network are generators, transformers and transmission lines and loads. So the generators part is to generate the electrical energy, and the transformers are increase or decrease the generated energy, and the transmission lines will carry the generated power from transformers to the distribution stations or transmission stations, and at that transmission and distribution stations the power is reached to consumers. So the steady state power is nothing but without losses, that is not possible. So with less losses and effective power is transmitted from distribution station to the consumers. That is the main aim of any power system. But practically it is not possible due to fault occurrence and different uneven conditions in the power stations. The voltage and power angles are changed. That's why the load flow analysis is used to determine the changes. So the load flow analysis, the importance of load flow in another ways, if we can explain the importance of load flow analysis, means the planning of power system, already we discussed. So if we increase the number of connecting stations at each bus, or if we change the load at any bus, because the demand in particular buses are continuously changed, according to that the demand, we can adjust the active and reactive powers at each bus to balance the power network. So, and the economic operations of generators mean the unit commitment, unit cost, according to the unit cost and according to the load changes, we can adjust the load at each buses is necessary for any power system for balance operation. And the voltage control. So voltage is continuously changed. If we can't control the voltage changes, it may affect the total system. And the stability analysis, finally the fault analysis. So the abnormal conditions are occurred due to the fault occurrence. Immediately by using the load flow analysis, we can adjust the faulted values to the required values to protect the system. So already said the basic components. So according to these basic components, we can total power network is draw into a single line diagram with all these components. And finally that single diagram consisting of total number of generating stations or transmission lines or transformers and loads. According to that single line diagram, those components are connected to a single bus, each bus consisting of different components, number of generating stations and transmission lines. We are going to calculate that voltage, active power, reactive power and load angles at that particular buses. So I already remind you, single bus does not having a single generator. The single bus may be connecting to different generators and different transmission lines and different loads. So that's why in power network or load flow analysis, the buses are very important. In that, mainly the buses are classified into three types. First one is slack bus, second one is PV bus, and third one is load bus. So slack bus means, already we discussed the four important components in the power network. So active power, reactive power, voltage and voltage angle, voltage magnitude and voltage angle. So for the slack bus, we know that the magnitude and load angle of the slack bus and the unknown quantities are active power and reactive powers. So the slack bus is always balances the losses. If in any power network there is no indication of a slack bus, generally any one PV bus, constant voltage bus, is considered as the slack bus. Second one is the PV bus. PV bus means generator bus. The known quantities for PV bus are active power and voltage magnitude. The unknown quantities are reactive power and load angle. So if any fault occurs in that particular power system, the PV bus changes at the PV bus, the changes are reactive power and magnitude. So by using the load flow analysis for that PV bus, we can calculate the reactive power and magnitude at any instant. And the third one is PQ bus. This is also called as load bus. So for this bus, we know that the active power and reactive power values and the unknown quantities are voltage and magnitude and load angle of that particular bus. The general steps used to follow the load flow analysis to calculate all these magnitudes, voltages and load angle, active power, reactive power are, the common criteria is, first collect the total data at that particular bus and then form a Y-bus matrix. Y-bus means admittance matrix. So in single line diagram, we discussed that many number of transmission lines, transformers and generators are connected to that particular bus. So by using Y-bus matrix, the admittance matrix, here we have two methods, in singular transformation method or direct inspection method. By using those two methods, we can calculate the admittance matrix from single line diagram. So in that Y-bus matrix, it includes all the admittance values of that particular components connected in selected power network. Means all generators, transmission lines, loads, transformers are included in that Y-bus matrix. So after collecting data, form that Y-bus, and then so Y-bus is very important in this load flow analysis. After that, for each and every methods in load flow analysis, we assume some initial values. According to that initial values, we can follow the remaining procedure. After initial values, apply that respective iterative methods, and that iterative methods is continuous to reach the convergence value. Convergence value means before recent value and present value, the difference between those two values is very less. Up to that mark, we can repeat this total procedure and then finally conclude that is the effective load flow values for that particular selected power network. So in this load flow analysis, mainly we have four methods. So these power equations all are algebraic nonlinear equations. To solve those nonlinear equations, why? Because any fault occurs, immediately change the parameters are changes, so the stable values becomes nonlinear. So to solve those nonlinear algebraic equations, we are using this load flow analysis. In this main methods are Gauss-Seidel method, second one is Newton-Raphson method, third one is fast decoupled method, and the fourth one is decoupled load flow method. So Gauss-Seidel, Newton-Raphson, fast decoupled load flow, all these methods uses the previous explained procedure. So for all these methods, first we collect the data, after that we form a Y-bus matrix, after that applying the respective procedure equations for that initial values, and then finally we iteratively compute the total values. After that, if we get the convergence, we can conclude that is the best solution for those methods. So individually, the Gauss-Seidel method, this is the basic first iterative method. In this, so many assumptions are there, very simple calculation. Compare it to all the four methods, this is the very simple method, but the limitation is because we are assuming so many number of assumptions, the results of this method may be not accurate, and that's why the Newton-Raphson method, this is the mostly useful method in power networks. In this Newton-Raphson method, the assumptions are very less, and we are using the Jacobian matrix. So for the Jacobian matrix, we are assuming the Taylor series method. So that in Taylor series expandation, we calculate the Jacobian matrix elements. That's why this is very accurate method among the four methods. But the only limitation is according to number of components in this Jacobian matrix elements, the time taking process is very high and the memory required for this method is also very high. But this is useful for large methods, large power systems, interconnected power systems. And in some assumptions, we are considered in decoupled method. So this is taken from the Newton-Raphson method. In the Jacobian matrix, we are eliminating the reactive powers in Jacobian matrix of Newton-Raphson, then we will get the decoupled and fast decoupled load flow analysis. So again, more assumptions are assumed in this decoupled and fast decoupled. That's why these are also not said that the accurate results. So finally, we conclude that among the four methods, Newton-Raphson will give the accurate results. The one of the example is, if we consider the IEEE 9-bus system, the voltage magnitude calculation for this IEEE 9-bus system, by using the three methods, the graphs, we will get the graph like this. So we can observe that the red indicates the fast decoupled method result, and the blue indicates the Gauss-Seidel method result, and the green indicates the Newton-Raphson method. So from these are the bus numbers. So at each and every bus, we can get the voltage magnitude by using those three methods. According to these graphs, we can observe that Newton-Raphson will give the accurate results. Why? Because here at bus 1, we can conclude that so many disturbances are occurred in this Newton-Raphson, in this fast decoupled and Gauss-Seidel method, because of the assumptions. Straight line means it not linear. So the variation in that voltage from bus 1 to bus 2, bus 2 to bus 3, at bus 3, according to the given values in the IEEE 9-bus system, basic data, according to basic data. So this is the reference graphs. So if any fault occurs in that particular bus, immediately these values are changed. According to these values, the changed values is again adjusted to these values for getting the stability in that particular system. So similarly, this is the voltage angle. Previously voltage magnitude, we will see that. And now the voltage angle variation according to three methods also seen. Here also clearly said that the Newton-Raphson will give the accurate results. This is the because of the more assumptions we get that straight line, but that's why this is not accurate results. We can't get practically these linear values. In ideal system only we can get the linear values. So this is again the basic. According to the basic assumptions, we will get like this. That is also not suitable for any power system. And similarly, the active power values also changed according to the basic three methods. By seeing these graphs also, we can conclude that Newton-Raphson method is the best solution to calculate the total parameters of a power network at any abnormal conditions or any faulted conditions. Finally, by using this load flow analysis, the main assumption is without any interruption and with less losses, we transmit the total power, generated power from generating stations to the consumers and to satisfy the consumers, and always adjust the load according to the load changes at the consumer level and maintain the stability. And finally, the unit commitment, the load scheduling is also based on the load flow analysis. So these are the main examples. That's why this load flow analysis is very, very important and heart of the power system. We can say that without load flow analysis, we can't increase the number of buses in a particular station, or we can't adjust the loads, or if we want to change the load from one bus to another bus. All these depends upon the load flow analysis, and we need some reference values. Whenever the fault occurs, we can adjust that into original values. We need some reference values. We get those reference values according to these load flow analysis. Thank you.